Who's
I never had to guard him man-to-man, but there were times I had to get him man-to-man.
And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Like the games like we play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks. When they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to West War Room Rivals. I am your host, Cody. I'm here with my comrades from the AFC West. We got the Shoviks in the opposite corner over here, Matt and Caleb down at the bottom here. Welcome, guys. How's everyone's Sunday? How was your guys' football festivities?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know all those Charger fans, I assumed they were going to win. I thought they already did win, but just watching the game, just kind of saw a different result.
I mean, they were all up in my DMs and on my lives talking about they were going to take the West from us. And I went live yesterday and didn't really see any of them.
I think I saw on the news that there is the largest nationwide APB out for Charger fans, especially those that already declared victory during the live that Caleb hosted. Haven't heard from them since, unfortunately. So, Caleb, how are you doing?
Me?
Awfully quiet in the group chat.
It's going. I know. I've been busy.
We've been getting ghosted a little bit more often.
Been busy this week. We've had inventory at work. It's always fun.
Busy taking L's.
Yeah. Well, if you have a team like the Raiders, it happens every day. It happens every week, so you don't have to worry about it. So, but anyways, guys, we've got a jam-packed show. We're going to thank some sponsors and then get rolling. So first off, we're recording out of the JBW Solutions studio. So shout out to Jeff and JBW Solutions LLC. Go visit them to get all safety compliance and regulations settled for your business. Vidite Coffee, shout out to you guys for being new partners with us. If you guys want Vidite Coffee, go to viditecoffee.com or go to Amazon to get your coffee today. And Rival Codes, where majority of us are wearing the Rivals gear right now. It is Raiders and Chiefs week, for those that care. If you guys want to get rivals like yourself for any sporting event like college football, which is the same thing, NFL, NBA, go to rivalcodes.com, use rivalcodes10 to get 10% off your merch today. So, you guys, we are going to do some opening icebreaker here. Cory put this in the notes for me here. So, we've got a New Year's resolutions for your team. So, Caleb, I'll kick it off to you first. What is your team's New Year's resolution?
Correct all of our self-inflicted wounds, I guess. I don't know if that's a good one or not, but that's how we've lost the past few games that we've lost. Lots of self-inflicted wounds.
Okay, so what does the self-inflicted wounds look like?
Losses.
Yes, unfortunately, losses. Losses, turnovers.
Okay,
that
Not scoring enough points.
Yeah, not scoring enough points. Missed blocking assignments.
Looking ahead past your current opponent.
Playing for number one.
Past our current opponent, Austin is correct. The list can go on and on. I can keep.
All right, I appreciate that. Austin, what are the Chiefs' New Year's resolution?
Stop being like the Raiders.
It's bound to happen, only time will tell.
No, man, look, I'm a Chiefs fan, but it's been a rough. I mean, I know we're still better than the Raiders, but let's get back being closer to good than we are the Raiders. I don't care what it takes. Just quit looking like the Raiders.
So just be better, I guess, is the resolution?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go next, considering, the Broncos fans are in first place. I don't know what they have to wish for at this point. But for the Raiders, I think my New Year's resolution is I want Mark Davis to sell the team. So post Al Davis passing away, we've had 2 seasons where we've gone into the playoffs since he's taken full ownership. I think it's time for him to sell the team. So that's my
top rope.
I think a new ownership would actually be a breath of fresh air for the fandom, and I think that they would make better football decisions than what Mark Davis does. So that'd be my New Year's resolution for the Raiders. So, Cory, I'll lead with you as the first Bronco. What would the Broncos' New Year's resolution be?
Yeah, and first I want to say wore my rival coach shirt last time, but we don't have one for the Chargers. But Broncos are throwing the throwbacks this weekend, so in honor of the throwbacks, I wanted to wear my Big D shirt. So for the resolutions, I think it's a consistent run game, consistent off. Yeah.
It's a big D for the widespread against the Chargers this weekend. So
yeah, dude.
Here we go.
It's a huge widespread. Like, was it 12.5? I think I haven't looked at it since, but for the resolution, it's a more consistent run game. Stick with the run game. Rely on your run game to get you a playoff win.
Matt, what's the resolution that you see for the Broncos?
Yep, I was actually going to say run game, but since Cory already took that from me, I'm going to say get rid of screen passes. I don't even want screen passes playbook in your vocabulary. You should wake up the next day and not even know what a screen pass is. Take it out of the playbook. Please stop. Just stop.
This is Sean Payton's time to shine, to show what creative screen passes he has in the repertoire. So,
yeah, a Cortland Sutton screen pass on 3rd and 11. Yeah, that usually works out well.
All right, guys, that was our opening for New Year's resolutions for our respective AFC West team. So, Cory, thank you for putting that in there. For those that are looking to get a New Year's resolution, our team certainly need one. Mine needs one for sure. So that kind of segues us over to the Giants and the Raiders. I guess it was technically a game. It's going to go down in the record books as a regular season game. I think both teams did everything absolutely possible to both lose. Just the Giants sucked at it worse than the Raiders. If you want to lose in style, just mimic what the Raiders do. Don't tackle. Let them score when they do a simple run play. Don't defend the pass. Let Jackson Dart look like he was a first-round pick for a reason, even though I think he's leading rookies right now in interceptions. But that's fine. Let him have whatever he wants and have Geno Smith out there. That's always going to help. When he hits a guy point blank in the hands on a simple screen pass in the red zone, that's how you lose games. So I want everyone to take notes. If you're trying to get the number one pick, watch what the Raiders have done this season. So I don't really have much to add to the game in general. I know that some Raider fandoms are happy that the Raiders have now the number one pick to hopefully get Fernando Mendoza, which who the hell knows if he's going to be the quarterback of the future. I don't know. I've heard I'm blanking on the name of the quarterback out of Oregon right now. Dante Moore. So maybe he's a fit. Maybe we go in a different route. I couldn't imagine we go first overall pick for an offensive lineman, but hey, what do I know? So I think majority of Raider Nation got what they wanted. They wanted us to suck so bad that we have the first overall pick. I think the only optimism that comes from this is with the overall pick and the upcoming head coaching vacancy that will come about, because there's now been several reports coming out that Pete Carroll's going to get let go after the Chiefs game. So, I mean, we all pretty much knew that. I think now it's just coming out that it's damn near confirmed. The only thing I can think of that any top coordinator, any head coach of any reputation is probably now interested in the Raiders, because you got the first overall pick. You can essentially do whatever you want with the roster, or at least whatever John Spytek wants you to do with it. And you're going to have Tom Brady more involved in football operations, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe a football mind leading day-to-day operations. I don't know what that will look like for the Raiders, because honestly, we haven't had a comparable front office since Reggie McKenzie back in 2014. So literally over 10 years ago. But here we are. So I think that's my general recap for the Giants and Raiders and what I think about the first overall pick. Really don't know what to make of it. We'll see how it goes. We have a whole offseason to talk about it, so I know that'll be very exciting for the guys here in the war room, and I guess I'll be excited for it as well. But Austin, what are your thoughts about the Raiders having now the number one overall pick?
Boy, was I wrong about the Raiders in the preseason.
Me too.
That's really my first thought. I thought they were going to be competitive. I thought it was going to be competitive for something meaningful, not for the number one pick. But I mean, if you've watched football at all this year from any fan base, the Raiders are the worst team. They've looked like the worst team. And this year, they've looked like the most dysfunctional team. So, I mean, it's not a surprise. I think once that Max Crosby stuff happened leading up to that game, you kind of knew the Raiders weren't going to win. Like, if the Raiders flexed, all right, there is something they're better at than other teams, and it's sucking. and they showed that they could do it better. So again, not a whole lot to take home. I think your one bright spot on the season, I think I saw Genty has over like 1,200 total yards somehow behind
that god awful offensive line.
Can't even call an offensive line with terrible play calling. So, I mean, I don't want the Raiders to get good, but I would like to see what Genty would actually look like if he was on like an okay team. That's really all I have on that. I mean, you're not wrong. A coach coming in with Bowers, Genty, and a number 1 overall pick, it's got to look a little decent to at least someone who has half a football IQ, which would already lead the Raiders organization. So
it'd be more than what we've had recently. So
yeah, no, not a lot to take on that game. I mean, it was bad.
Cory, what about you?
What a joke of a franchise this is. I love it. Like, they couldn't happen to a better group of fans either. Like, put Cody aside here, like just the Raider fans minus Cody. You guys are hilarious. It cracks me up. It's year after year. Hell, after that week 3 game that you guys lost, it was, oh my God, fire everybody, fire this, fire that. What a cycle we continue to live in with the Raiders, and I'm here for it. I absolutely love the dysfunction that Davis brings with his organization. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to get any better for the Raiders. I don't care who they hire. I don't care what they do. They will find a way to fumble this number 1 overall pick if they get it. And we'll continue to sit here and talk about the same thing over and over and over and over again with the Raiders. And we continue to point and laugh at them because you're going to continue to be America's booty call and no one's going to respect you at it. It's just what it is. That's where you're at as an organization. You are down there with the Browns.
Yeah, and honestly, the Browns actually look like they're a couple of pieces away from being formidable. The Raiders are need a full on full body off restoration and everything in between. So, Matt, I guess I dare ask, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, what is there to say that hasn't already been said? I mean, this is just a joke of a franchise. And to think, like, a small part of me said, you know what? Maybe the Raiders might have a chance because both teams are trash. Like, all of our teams got to play the Giants when Dayball was still the coach. He got fired. So, like, cool. There's no organization there either. It's 2 dysfunctional teams going at it. And the Giants look like a playoff caliber team after that matchup with the Raiders. Like, again, there's not much to say. And then to add, salt to the wound. Oh, we're gonna cut Max out. He's done for the rest of the season. He needs knee surgery. And then like a day later, he's posting videos of him playing basketball and jumping on a trampoline. So like, again, my question is, who runs that organization? Because it's clearly not Pete. It's clearly not the bowl cut man that's up at the top over there. Who's running this organization? Like Timu Al Davis? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Caleb, I'll let you round it out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they hit on most everything, but I mean, what I would say is I thought Chip Kelly was the issue, but I don't know that it was Chip Kelly. I mean, I really don't. I kind of agree with what you said earlier in the show, Cody. I think Mark needs to sell the team. I really do. I think they need to start from the top down, that kind of thing. But overall, I mean, if the Raiders really, really want to overhaul their O-line, their D-line, change their team, they think about trading that first pick, honestly, instead of drafting a QB with that first pick. I know that's probably a hot take for a lot of Raider fans, but that's kind of what I think will change their team. But that's kind of my thoughts on that. Obviously, we'll get more into that as we get closer to draft time, but
yeah.
That's kind of my thoughts.
I mean, it's honestly, from you being a rival team, that still sounds like a better idea than what I've seen the Raiders do. And even if hypothetically, I don't know how many picks the Raiders could get for the first overall pick that come through in 26 and respectively 27, who knows? I mean, is it enough to build the team? Maybe, depending on the quality of draft picks, I guess, in the team. And again, I told you guys about this on our Sunday morning pregame show. I think what I get concerned with is the leader, like the front office, the head coach, coaching staff, developing these players, because I've seen players come be productive and then they don't stick around, they're gone, and they look great on other teams. I've seen when we had Khalil Mack and we traded him for 2 first-round picks, sent him to the Bears. I've seen when we had Amari Cooper in his prime and we sent him over to the Cowboys. And I've seen a lot of good players. We let Josh Jacobs walk. I mean, granted, we got Genty, but I've seen a lot of good players that we've drafted and let walk. And I've seen us draft a lot of bad players like Jonathan Abram, I think it was Jonathan Abram from, I can't remember what college, but we had drafted him as a safety and he was kind of doing a rover thing like with what we're doing with Jamal Adams. And I've seen us draft all these other players that didn't work out. So to me, I'm like, it doesn't really matter if we don't have our front office in line, our ownership in line. Honestly, ownership to me is like probably where it needs to start because we literally have done everything else. Gotten rid of the quarterback. We've changed this offensive line, this defensive line. We've gotten a new coordinator. We got a new offensive coordinator, another new head coach. Only thing that has stayed the same in that time frame has been the owner. So logic speaks. It's like, hey, Mark, maybe we should get out of the business or at least sell your majority stake to somebody else that can handle the day-to-day stuff. And you just be an angel investor or silent owner and just kind of go retire somewhere because running football operations isn't his thing. So, all right. So I'll get off.
Love to see. I really do want to see the Raiders draft Mendoza and he's going to fail.
He probably will. And I think that's what's concerning is like, we're probably going to do what people are like, what Raider fans are wanting to do, which is draft Mendoza. And it may be, it may be something that we are going to regret. Very similar to Jamarcus Russell. Not trying to say that Mendoza competes like that, but it could be another situation where we had the number 1 overall pick and we wasted on a player that's supposed to be a surefire thing because Raider Nation is obsessed with that. And now that's the nice, shiny toy that we think is going to turn everything around. And it's really much further than that. So, but anyways, all right, I'll get off my soapbox and I'll move on to the next topic here because I went 15 minutes deep on that. So I'm sorry, guys. But Caleb, we'll kick it over to you. The Chargers are sitting now, Herbert, in their final game against the Broncos. You guys aren't really playing for the division anymore. The Broncos, though, if they win, they clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC and a first-round bye. Mm-hmm. But the Chargers are sitting Herbert. So what are your thoughts, and then what do you make of that decision?
So at first, I was even talking in a group chat that I thought they were going to play him. I really did because there is a possibility we could have that 5 seed playing against Pittsburgh or Baltimore, whoever wins that game. But the more I looked at it, I mean, the Jags and Texans both would have to lose and we would have to win. So, like, I don't see the Jags losing to the Titans this week. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then, and if we do win, but most likely we would end up playing the Broncos again, back-to-back weeks in Mile High. And it's like, I don't know that I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to play a team back-to-back weeks, especially 3 times in a season. Like, that's brutal, back-to-back, So, obviously, we are most likely going to end up matching up against the Patriots. So, I understand the move completely. And I'm actually, the more I've thought on it, it's the right move for our team, for our franchise. Actually, moving forward, it's the right move. I don't want to see Justin Herbert get killed and not get to play in the playoff games when he is our only offense. I mean, he's been our only offense for the past 3 weeks, really. So I like the move, and I've talked about it before on our show a couple years ago, actually 5 years ago. We were playing the Broncos in a week 16, week 17. I think it might have been right at the time they were switching to 17 games. Mike Williams got hit pretty early in the game, broke his back. And that was crucial for us. I mean, he was one of our only good wide receivers at the time. It was him and Keenan. And losing him was a big factor because he was having like a career year, that kind of thing. And he was never the same after that. So I understand the move. I like the move the more I've thought about it. We'll let Trey Lance get a little burn. Shout out to Austin.
Don't get us banned.
Yeah. Don't get us banned. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think I understand the move. At first I didn't like it. Now I like it.
Okay. Matt, what are your thoughts of basically the Broncos? If they take care of business, you guys get home field advantage for the remainder of the playoffs, and you get that first round bye. So, first off, what are your thoughts on the game shortly, and then how important is it that the Broncos take care of business?
Well, my dad and I, and he's in the chat right now. Again, JBW Solutions, thank you. We were talking about it the other day, and we're both thinking like, they may play the starters, maybe a couple, first 2 quarters, get a comfortable lead, and then pull them. And I'd be okay with that because Stidham is a very viable backup. He's already shown that he's comfortable in Sean Payton's offense. He's got chemistry with pretty much everyone, starters and, the backups as well. So I'm not too worried about it. But it is a very good feeling knowing, like, to say, like, Cory and I even talked about it on our live yesterday. It's a nice feeling knowing, like, we're in this position. We haven't been able to say that in the last 10 years. Like, hey, we have the chance to get the number 1 seed. So I think they're going to play well. Again, I do think the starters are going to get some action, maybe the first 2 quarters, pull them at halftime, and then just let Jarrett Stidham take over and handle business there. And again, I agree with Caleb. Like, there's no point. You get no benefit out of it. It'd be one thing, like, if you had the potential to host a playoff game. Everyone kind of wants right now. The Steelers are kind of like the weak link in this playoffs. And you want to, take your chances and hopefully you match up with them. But the Jags aren't losing to the Titans. And then you have the Texans and their matchup with the Colts. And, that game could go 50-50 either way. But, I don't see both of them losing. So, like, there's no point in risking your players, injuries for something that may not happen. So it's just best to sit them. And I don't think it's going to be a super exciting game, but it is going to be nice to see the backups come in and you can look forward to the talent next year.
Okay. Austin, what are your thoughts on Herbert being sat for essentially what would help the Broncos get the number 1 seed?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty normal. You can't worry about what it's going to do to the other team. As much as it's a division rival or anything, you got to think internal first. And it's very normal to sit your players if you're not really playing for anything super meaningful, I think, like Matt said. So it's very normal. I'm not surprised. I haven't looked at the Raiders report, but it wouldn't surprise me if they sit a few other super key players just to avoid it, right? Because, the Chargers would like to play spoiler to Denver's number 1 seed, but there's no cost that's worth that. You'd rather make the playoffs with your guys than spoil Denver's number 1 seed and then go into the playoffs limping. So I'm not surprised. I think it's a smart move, which is weird to say when it comes to the Chargers. But again, it's the Harbaugh effect. He's a smart football guy. So not surprised. I'm sure the list of top tier players for them sitting out will be lengthy. And honestly, it's a smart move. You aren't going to make it anywhere with some of those key players out. So, I mean, you probably won't make it anywhere with them, but your chances go down. So,
all right, Cory, your thoughts?
Yeah, and this is kind of where Matt and I differ. I don't think I think the starters played most of the game for the Broncos. I don't think this is a game that Sean's going to want to take that chance unless it's a good, comfortable lead at halftime. I expect the starters to probably play a good chunk of the game. Just because what's at stake and how bad they want this 1 seed, I think they want to make sure that it's comfortable in grasp. As far as Herbert sitting, as I said it after the game Saturday that he's got to sit. Like, there's in no world do you want Trey Lance playing in the postseason game. He gave it a good run in preseason, and he'll give it a good run this weekend. But you want Herbert. You 100% want Herbert. He's already banged up enough. He's one Nick Bonito or, Zach Allen shot away from being knocked out, and we don't want to see that. So smart move all around. And I'll save my Crossfire, but I really do think the Chargers and Patriots is going to be a pretty good matchup.
I think I come at it from 2 different angles. One, I understand keeping Herbert healthy. You're already in the postseason. What's the point of fighting for maybe a higher, maybe a lower seed? I actually think if for either Broncos or Chargers, if you guys played each other back-to-back weeks, maybe some would say it would favor the Chargers just because they already had their number at the start of the season, and maybe again, with our divisional opponents, the one thing why it's tough to play them is because you get to see them again in later on in the season. And so you've already seen somewhat of the game plan. You're more familiar with them. So, I think it would go either way. But I mean, I get it for Chargers to preserve Herbert's health. I think what I get concerned with is, again, I think we talked about this earlier in the season where that divisional competitiveness just isn't there, just because some part of me would have loved to seen the Chargers say, it doesn't matter. We're going to do what we can to prevent the Broncos from getting the number 1 seed because we want to make it tougher on them. Again, I'm just speaking as a divisional fan, not necessarily like that's a smart football move. Like both teams already have it locked up. This is probably going to look very similar to when I think the Chiefs sat everybody last year in week 18. It allowed the Broncos to win, I think, to get into the wild card. And that's when they played the Bills. So it's going to reminisce that where one team has nothing to play for. The other team really doesn't have anything to play for either. But I think generally like it's a smart football move, but I would have loved to seen like a little bit of divisional competitiveness. But again, different time. I get it. And we'll see how they look. And I'm curious to see how both teams do in the playoffs, because I'm kind of still on the fence of like Broncos getting a first round bye might be beneficial, but also might hurt them just because, again, bye weeks usually don't favor that much of the team. Chiefs are a little bit of an anomaly just because it seemed like every year they got a bye week, but at least what I remember seeing championships when they came from the wild card, it was a bit not easier, but they had the momentum on their side, not like sat for a week and then they're trying to play again and they're playing a hot team. So that's why I think maybe sometimes the first round bye isn't as beneficial, and what I'm a little concerned with if I were the Broncos. But
no, you want that bye week. Sean Payton's he's just as good at bye weeks as Andy Reid is, having that extra time to prepare. So,
well, unlike the Raiders, some teams do have a true home field advantage.
Sure,
and Mile High is one of those. You can probably put, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 stadiums that are true home field advantages, and Mile High is one of them. I'd feel different if we were talking about like a domed Indianapolis Colts playing for a 1 seed. I don't think they have a true home field advantage, but you want games at Mile High. You want people to come there at this time of year. So I halfway agree with your statement, but the half of Mile High is a home field advantage to the max.
Yeah, sure. And make no mistake about it, Denver's defense hasn't looked that great the last month.
No. So
don't take Trey Lance, and that's why I don't get this whole starters aren't going to play mentality with the Broncos. They absolutely are going to play. It's wild to me that to sit here and think Denver doesn't have anything to play for. You have everything to play for with this number 1 seed. This is number 1 seed that you absolutely need. You want every single game that you're playing in the postseason to come through Mile High. And I think it's a loser mentality to sit here and say, well, we don't have much to play for the 1 seed. You absolutely play for the 1 seed. And if I see starters not playing Sunday, I'm gonna be pretty upset by this, because you have everything to play for, and this 1 seed is it.
All right, I like it. All right, I'm not going to do the silver and black report.
He's already trashed out twice.
There's nothing. So here's what I will say, and I kind of. I guess the only thing I'm curious about in Austin, I heard this, and I think I texted this to you in the group chat where, and I don't know if it's any corroboration, but where the Chiefs dislike the Raiders so much that they may purposely lose the game to let the Raiders win, so they get screwed out of the number 1 pick. Yeah. I only saw like kind of like a half-ass report about it. It wasn't like a legit one, but I'm just curious, like, would that be the Chiefs' ultimate middle finger to let the Raiders win so they don't get the number 1 pick?
No, that ain't Andy Reid. If the Raiders win, it's because our scrubs are just bad. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a world where Andy Reid or half like the competitors on this team go into a game wanting to lose. This game is still Raiders week. They still don't like the Raiders. And the biggest middle finger to the Raiders is embarrassing them again with our practice squad team. So, I don't know. I don't think any team actually tries to lose on purpose. I know the Raiders really walk that line really well, but they still try to go out and win.
I was going to say, did we not? Like, the Raider-Giant game looked pretty evident that
you don't get to this level by not being a true competitor. It shows differently, but there's not a single person in the Chiefs locker room that wants to lose this game. And if there is, I promise you, Andy Reid they'll take care of them. Even the Raiders they may not look like it, but they're going to try to win.
See, here's where I think you and I don't agree on that, because I think Max Crosby not being there, he's really the only true Raider that understands this rivalry, where he will do everything he can to get home to the quarterback or affect the game. I don't really see that we have any sort of like alpha Raider on the field that understands the magnitude between Raiders and the Chiefs AFC West, to where they are going to play to win because it's against the Chiefs. I almost feel like that everyone since week 14 has been just sandbagging it, because who gives a shit, you know?
Almost week 2, but they still want to win.
Chiefs have never lost in Vegas.
Yeah.
Even the Super Bowl, baby.
I think my point being is like, yes, I think I'm not saying that the Chiefs would throw a game, or not throw a game, but like not try. But I just thought it was funny of like, you know, the Chiefs hate the Raiders so much they'd screw them out of the number 1 pick by letting them win. But then that would mean they'd need to sacrifice a win of their own. But
I will make fun of every single Chiefs fan. Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You know, again, it's just one of those. It's always like the last game of the season where someone comes up with something stupid and everyone rides with it. Like last year it was, oh, the Chiefs purposely lost to the Broncos because they're so scared of the Bengals, like resting their starters, you know, the last week when you've already locked up the 1 seed. Like, teams have been doing that since 10,000 BC. Like, but now all of a sudden it's this bold strategy to keep the Bengals out the playoffs. Like, shut up, man. And now it's, oh, the Chiefs are just going to throw this game on purpose. So they're, come on now. That would be like that episode of South Park where both the teams like didn't want to play baseball and they're both trying to lose. I mean, the Raiders are still going to lose this game regardless. Like, the Chiefs could not play as bad as the Raiders starters are playing right now. Just stop. Stupidity drives me nuts. And this is just one of those things that it grinds my gears, man.
Chiefs have practice squad guys that are going to play that could start on the Raiders right now.
Yeah, I bet. And the reason why the Raiders haven't done anything to like be competitive, I think, is just because I think everyone in that locker room just knows that no one is really trying to win. They're not doing anything to win. Pete Carroll, unfortunately, this has been a bad first year for him and why he's going to go. But I think this is just like the level of like no one gives a shit is just on a level I've never seen before. I've seen Raider teams that have had bad rosters that have tried and still lost, of course, because they're not talented enough. But this one, by all accounts, like heading in with a good head coach, decent talent other than their offensive line, should be competitive. And yet here we are, week 18, and we're wondering like how badly are they going to lose, and like how many of the Raiders aren't going to finish the game because they don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I can see the Raiders losing on purpose, but that's who they are. The Chiefs aren't going to go in here to lose on purpose. Kind of what Jeff says.
It's because they're losers. Like, that's the losing culture.
Right.
And I'm not losers. And again, I'm not trying to like do on the Raiders. The Raiders do on themselves all the time because that's what losers do. They continuously lose, and then they start the cycle over and over and over and over. It just happens to be no one thought that this team would look worse under Pete Carroll than they did with the AP.
Yeah,
right.
That's what's kind of the surprising thing here, but it's a losing culture, losing mentality, and that starts at the top.
Yeah.
But I can tell you Chiefs aren't going to lose on purpose because that's not their mindset. This is still a team full of champions with the championship head coach. So Raiders, yeah, they could lose on purpose. Chiefs, no, they're going to go in there and try to win.
Fair enough. All right. Let's move on from the Silver and Black Ops report because that was a hot mess in and of itself. So let's move on to Austin's aerial attack. What were the defenses that stepped up in week 17 for Austin?
You know, I really wanted to go the Vikings here, but I got to go with my Browns. You know, we're kind of, you know, they're not playing for anything, but they're still going out and playing. Like they still have one of the best pass defenses in the NFL, if not the best. And they held the Steelers to 6 points in a must-win game for the Steelers, right? Like Steelers are still playing for something. And Myles Garrett gets all the flowers as he should, but like Who decided to throw 3 straight fades to MVS lined up against Denzel Ward? Denzel Ward is also one of those top like 4 or 5 corners in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to challenge him for 3 straight plays with the game on the line with MVS? Like, no offense, dog, but what? So, I mean, the whole defense for the Browns stepped up. I think held Aaron Rodgers to under, I think it was like 160 pass yards, sacked him a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett didn't get the record, but that defense is real with Garrett. That rookie linebacker, I can never say his name.
Carson
Wissinger, yeah.
Yeah, that dude's a stud, and he's playing hurt. He's playing hurt on a team that isn't playing for anything. If that's not just like the defensive side of Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Denzel Ward, again, he's on a bad team, so he never gets kind of the credit he deserves. But 3 straight plays, he probably just laughed. But he answered, nope, not going to go that route. But he came up big for 3 straight plays. So I'm giving it to the Browns this week, and surprisingly not Myles Garrett, the whole defense, but specifically Denzel Ward for not surprisingly stopping MVS on 3 straight fades in the end zone, or 3 straight passes to the end zone.
And for anyone that missed it, when we had Chris Harris Jr. on last week, he named Denzel Ward as one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. So, because Denzel Ward is like that. Yeah, he is 100%. So you're going to the Browns. I'm surprised you didn't pick the Eagles beating the Bills, but
that was just, I don't know. I can't.
Bad football, you think?
No, I almost picked the Bills because they held the quarterback completion list in the second half.
17 total yards.
Pass in the second half for the second time in his career, and he won for the second time. If that doesn't tell you that he's carried by the team. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'd go Browns. With a chance to not shout out Myles Garrett for once, but because I do love their defense. I'm going to be real with you. Like, that defense is the reason they're even halfway competitive. So,
yeah,
kudos to them for stopping their division rival on a must-win game for their division rival. It was awesome.
All right. Let's move on to Caleb's Counterstrike. Caleb, who was all hype and no bite for week 17?
So I was actually going to say the Steelers, but I'm actually going to pivot a little bit. I'm going to say everyone's MVP except for the War Rooms. He is my Counterstrike this week. Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Started out, I mean, he threw 3 picks, 2 pick sixes. I mean, the way they played against the Falcons, who were like, they're playing for nothing too, Excuse me. But he did end up playing a lot better in the second half, threw 2 touchdowns, whatever. But the way he came out in that game did not look like an MVP. And I've put him up there in the top 3 in like every list that I've made. But I was so disappointed in how they started out their performance this week and how the Rams came out. It was so out of the ordinary for them this season. So I pivoted, and the Rams are my Counterstrike this week.
That's a good one.
That was a really, really good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were all. I think I got home late from work, and I was seeing. I think Matt sent it, or Cory, you sent a text out to the group about the Rams being bad, and they were down 21-0 in the first half or first quarter, and then they tried to rally back, and then they still lost at the end. And I just felt like, what happened to the Rams? Like, I don't know if they're just like falling asleep at the wheel. It's concerning because I have said all season that I think they're the NFC favorite, and now I don't know. They're going to be a first round exit if they keep playing like that. So
wild.
Yeah.
Especially,
I will say that. I was going to say, and I will say this, and Cory and I talked about it last night. Where's the national outcry? Because if this was Denver that was down that big to the Falcons and they lost to the Falcons, oh my Lord, the media outlets, all these casual fans, like frauds this, frauds that, this, that, and the third. But the Rams, let's start making excuses for them. So where's that? I did crash on that game because again, it's a double standard, but I don't want to take up too much time. Good Counterstrike there, Caleb.
Thank you.
Anyone have anything else to add before we go on to the next seggy?
I did see something today that says anytime the season's not on the line, the Falcons are the best team in the NFL.
That's so true.
Yeah. And I did want to add one other thing. They're literally fighting for the division. They could have been fighting for the 1 seed even. and they come out there and just lay an egg. I don't know.
Well, the
But
counter
when it
to that is the Falcons have bad losses this year, and they're probably 1 or 2 wins away from probably easily winning the South.
Oh,
They look like the best team.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
I saw that they actually have a chance if they win. I think if they win the final game that they have, and of course, I think the Panthers and the Bucks, one of them has to win or lose, something like that. There's going to be a 3-way tie for 8 and 9, but I think it's going to default to the Panthers because they own the tiebreaker over the Bucks, who have scored more than the Falcons, which is why they would then proceed over
second.
them. Yeah, which is wild. It's like, wait, so if the Falcons would have won one more game, they could have won the division.
Isn't
Which
it
is how
That is
Yeah.
It's crazy that division, the Bucks and Panthers are playing for the lead, for the winning of that division, right? But don't you feel like the Saints and Falcons are the 2 best teams right now in that division? It's that's how. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like for the last handful of years, the NFC South has always been like no one wants to win this division type of division. So
I remember us having that conversation with Meg before the season.
Yeah.
The exact same conversation.
That's funny. All right, let's transition to Cory's Crossfire. I'm actually very curious who's in your Crossfire this week. So, Cory, the floor is yours.
So it's crybaby ass Patriot fans.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Matt's mom.
All I see on X is, the Chargers are handing the Broncos the number 1 seed. Stop it. Like, who have you guys beat this season anyways? You and your wannabe MVP, Drake May.
Well, hold on.
No.
Wow.
Stafford still has way better stats than Drake May, touchdown-wise, interception-wise. Patriot fans, you should call this a blessing because now you probably get to play the Chargers in the first round. That's actually a win for you guys, okay?
Oh.
So I don't want to sit here and listen to you guys say the Chargers are handing the Broncos this, they're handing the Broncos that, okay? Enjoy your first-round win. Okay, then you guys can, then maybe who knows? I still said the Broncos Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Said it back in October. I'm still leaning that way. But please just beat a team first before we sit here and say you guys deserve the number 1 seed.
Well,
And we will see you next season.
We will see you next season.
Well, and the crazy thing is that the Chargers were trying to beat the Texans. What do they mean that they were just giving it to Denver?
By sitting Herbert this week, they thought that the Chargers were handing the Broncos the 1 seed.
Again, it's the same narrative as last year where, the Chiefs rested.
Nope, that's not me, Jeff. That's Cory.
He's got,
It's all good.
he has some timers.
Mom's not really like, she's not part of that fan base of the crybaby fans. But again, I could be wrong, but this wasn't directed towards Mama Williams, I promise.
No.
No, this is like the narrative last year with the Chiefs. Like, oh, they're only going to lose this game to Denver because they're afraid of the Bengals. Says who? just stop. Stop with your stupidity.
That's very, very interesting Crossfire, Cory. I like it.
Nah, I'm here for it. You want to see unbearable? Watch for 1 seed Bronco fan me,
bro. I'm gonna move out this house.
It'll probably come back to bite me, and I'm fully ready for it. I really am.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna enjoy it while it's here.
All right, I'm definitely gonna clip this Crossfire. It's gonna be fire.
Oh God, I might stay on TikTok for a little bit.
All right, let's move on to the main event, the last seggy of the evening before we go to a break. Matt's M.I.L.F report reviewing Week 17 matchups. Matt, what's your M.I.L.F report say, sir?
So last week we didn't get a chance to do a M.I.L.F report because we had Chris Harris Jr. on, and then we took Wednesday off because of the holiday. So we're gonna go ahead and look forward to Week 18, and surprisingly, it's not going to be any of those guys competing for a division. It's going to be, we just talked about it, the Falcons and the Saints, because we all kind of agreed right now these two look like the 2 best teams in the South, and both of them are coming off of big wins. Audric estimated the Saints had a huge game with them. I think he had like 95 yards rushing and a touchdown. And then you have the Falcons with, again, their win over the Rams yesterday. I think they had 3 interceptions against Matt Stafford. So, I mean, again, these are 2 teams that, like, hey, we suck, but we can still play. So, again, I'm just kind of excited to see who wins this one, who comes out on top, and who's going to get third place. So that's my matchup.
And I will say we had a really good conversation on the live last night with the Saints fan, and he was like great to chat with, and
He had football IQ.
he had football IQ. He was really knowledgeable, and there were a couple times where Matt and I had to kind of remind him, hey, we're actually like, we don't hate the Saints. Like there's no reason for us to hate the Saints. Like, so we had to kind of reel him in a couple times, but yeah, man.
Take out my boy Justin Reed. That's what I kept saying.
And we both agreed that Kellen Moore is a good coach. What he's done with this team, like give him another year or two, and the Saints will be, the Saints of old again, or close to it.
And it's the byproduct of playing in that division too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like maybe the Panthers, possibly, but I don't see the Bucs are getting older in the wrong spots. Like I know they have some young receivers, they have some, but they in the key positions, like their secondary, they have some older fellas.
Devontae.
They had Levante David, old. Mike Evans is obviously getting older. Baker's, but again, they'll still be the team to beat, but don't. Maybe next year, Matt and I will have the Saints as our sleeper team.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting how the Bucs were leading the division. They lost it. They got healthy, and they still lost it. And I don't think that the Panthers are a dangerous team per se. Like defensively, yes, but there's really nothing about Bryce Young or their weapons that really make you think, oh man, we got to watch out for this team. I think it's just very, very interesting. But I like the week 17 or the week 18 matchup, Matt, that you gave in your M.I.L.F. report, because the Saints and I was looking this up, Tyler Show hasn't thrown an interception in 4 straight games.
He's good.
And, he's
really
proving
well.
that. Well, I know. Hold on, Cory. Hold on. Don't misinterpret that we're saying he's.
You already had your crossfire.
Yeah, we're not saying he's a great quarterback. He's played well recently. Just relax. We see you getting hot over there. But just in general, like I didn't think the Saints were going to be worth the damn, and yet here they are. Like they could be third in that division. Ironically enough, with the Falcons, and I think on the Falcons side is, do they clean house or they give Raheem Morris one more year? Because arguably they've had I thought a pretty good roster, offense and defense. And yet they're playing like a bottom 5 team. So I'm just not sure like what the Falcons are going to do for coaching. Are they going to keep Morris or are they going to move off from him considering the roster that he's had the last 2 years? So.
Yeah. And you would like to think at some point an NFL team would stick with the coach for, maybe one extra year. There's no such thing as except for the Browns maybe. But I think you're seeing this team play really well.
Yep.
Now you can look at maybe a GM change possibly just based on how they handled the Michael Penix situation with Kirk Cousins and how Kirk Cousins has been very vocal with how they handled the situation and kind of caught him off guard.
He balling.
But I think I would actually like to see Morris stay one more year just to kind of see. And then next year, if you have the similar, then you can go from there. But I think this would be a case of getting rid of a coach too soon.
Yeah. And unfortunately, my team knows about that all too well. So, all right, guys, let's dive into our sponsors. We're going to hit this clip real quick. We'll be back, and then we'll start our league recon. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Learn more at esfcu.com. Text or call the number 620-342-2336 to get started today. ESFCU is the Shovix banking of choice, federally insured by the NCUA. This episode of West War Room Rivals is brought to you by JBW Solutions Industrial Safety Services, your remote safety partner no matter where work takes you. From the job site to the office, JBW Solutions brings OSHA 10 and 30 training, plus a full lineup of compliance services straight to your screen. Whether you're a small crew or a major operation, they make safety simple, accessible, and effective. Visit jbwsolutionsllc.com to learn more today and stay compliant wherever you are. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Field Ops. Kansas sports fields just got an upgrade with Field Ops. Looking to reserve top quality sports fields in Kansas? Whether you're organizing youth tournaments, adult leagues, or weekend pickup games, Field Ops is your go-to platform for discovering and booking the best athletic fields across the state. Instant online reservations, detailed field info such as locations, amenities, and photos. Field Ops is also trusted by coaches, organizers, and athletes. From Wichita to Overland Park, Field Ops has got you covered with real-time availability and streamlined scheduling. Get in the game at gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. That's gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. KS. All right, everybody, welcome back to West War Room Rivals. Man, that sounded like the voice of New Mexico. Man, I wonder who did that clip. Anyways, guys, we are back. So shout out to JBW Solutions for being our studio, for being the studio head here. Thank you for Vidite Coffee for your sponsorship. Rival codes, use Rivals 10 to get 10% off your merch. Thank you to Troy and Field Ops. Thank you to Emporia State Federal Credit Union. So let's move on now to the league recon portion of the show. So because we are basically at the end of the season now, of course, there are end of the season awards that we are going to preview. We're going to do, player of the year for both offense and defense, rookie of the year, coach of the year. And of course, we're going to go on to the MVP conversation, which has already been hot and heavy. So let's kick it off right, fellas. Let's go with who is your MVP for the season. Caleb, I'll let you kick us off.
So I got to go with my guy, Justin Herbert. I know he's not on the champion, the AFC West champs, but he's been the best player in the AFC West this year. And
No.
I don't think it's really close. If you look at the stats, he's 9th in passing yards in the NFL. He is slightly below Bo Nix. He's 5th in passing touchdowns. He's above Bo Nix, who I assume would be the number 2 guy in this voting. He's 2nd in rushing yards as a QB with like 498 rushing yards, only behind Josh Allen. I got to go with my guy. Really, and he did all that while playing behind the worst O-line in the NFL. And it's really not.
Hold on. Nope. Not even
They're
close.
the 32nd ranked.
No, we have the most trash offensive line, sir. I'm gonna take you right there. No.
Check PFF.
Well, you
I
can't
don't give a
use
damn what PFF says. My eyes tell me it is the shittiest
All right.
offensive line. Anyways. Okay, so Cory, I know that we have notes here. I'm curious. This is for the whole NFL, right?
Mhm.
So Caleb.
Oh, the whole NFL? I thought we were just talking about the West.
No, I mean, I
My
could have
bad,
said that.
dude. My
Yeah.
bad. Okay, my bad. Sorry about that.
Okay, who's your MVP?
Cut. We got to start the episode over.
All right, hold on, guys. All right, reset lights.
No,
All right, ready?
That's my bad. My
Go.
bad. I thought we were just saying the West. That's my
bad, Caleb. But
No, you're good.
the West awards will be after
Yeah, there you go.
My bad. Okay,
I got you, dog.
restart. My fault. My fault.
All right,
Got
who's
you.
your NFL MVP?
we just lost a bunch of
MVP.
viewership from that.
I know. Dang, they're gonna revoke. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. My MVP, I got to go with Austin's guy, Myles Garrett, dude. He's got 22 sacks.
Homers.
You can't deny that. No, I mean, he's about to break. He should break the sack record this week. So I got to go with. I got to go with him.
Myles Garrett. Okay, Caleb, I'm just gonna let you know. I'm still gonna clip that you said Justin Herbert just for viral reasons.
Hell yeah.
Yes. All right, Matt, who is your NFL MVP?
Well, at the start of the season, my MVP was going to be Jonathan Taylor, but they've kind of since cooled down, as of late. So right now, again, as much as I hate it that the MVP is a quarterback award, it's going to be Matt Stafford again. Just he's done quite a bit. Yeah, don't look at like the last 2 losses. It's like, oh, that takes him out of the running. He's still Matt Stafford. He's still doing well at his age, by the way. Still doing well. He's still putting them in a position to win. And don't let these last 2 games define it. Like he's going to be the winner.
Okay. Austin, who's your NFL MVP?
Yeah, Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I think I posted like 75 pictures of him on X last night.
I just saw one while we were on our break. Yeah, I saw a nice new graphic up today.
That's
so
pretty sick, huh?
it was fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Myles Garrett for you. Cory, who's your NFL MVP?
Yeah, it's Matt Stafford. 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns. There was talks before the season that he may not even play. I know there's a lot of people out there that keep saying Drake may, not this season, Buttercups, maybe next year.
I'm surprised that no one is going opposite of a quarterback. So I was going to say Christian McCaffrey is the NFL MVP. I mean, with what he's done with the Niners and keeping them relevant, they've been kind of unhealthy on the receiver side for majority of the year. And he's 4 receptions away from having 100 receptions. And 100 yards away from having a 1,000 yard season. And he's stacking on the touchdowns like crazy. So, I mean, he's got one game. I think that is actually where I'm foreshadowing a little bit. That's one of our rival games that you guys can vote on later on in the week. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey to me looks like as close as an MVP candidate as you can get for what he's done for his team. So that would be who I'd pick is Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, realistically, I 1,000% agree with you. It should be a Myles Garrett. It should be a Christian McCaffrey.
Quarterback award.
Literally, those guys that have been carrying. Well, I don't know what Myles Garrett's really been carrying, but because it's not really translating.
All that money that he's been earning to the bank is what he's carrying.
All that money, but yeah, Christian McCaffrey, absolutely, and the fact that he's been able to stay relatively healthy through all of it's been wild, and he won me a fantasy championship.
Sure. Well, then if it's only a sole quarterback, like logically speaking, it's Christian McCaffrey, but it's only a quarterback award, then I would say, unfortunately, it's probably going to be Drake May.
Stop it. No.
He doesn't know quarterbacks. He's a Raiders fan.
Isn't he your quarterback?
Yeah, but we still don't sit here and say he's going to be the MVP. But it's your pick.
He probably will. I'm not saying I want him to. I think it's Christian McCaffrey, but you guys are saying it's a quarterback award. Okay, well then Drake May would probably win this award because he what did he win on Sunday Night Football and it actually looked pretty good. He had one of those 90% completion percentages and 5 touchdowns or whatever. So again, just stacking on good games, even though they're against bad teams.
Yeah, his 30 touchdowns to Matt Stafford's 42 touchdowns look real good.
I'm just winning favor right now with Mama Williams, so don't mind me, guys. So
hates you.
All right, let's move on to our next award, Offensive Player of the Year. Matt, who is your Offensive Player of the Year?
My Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Christian McCaffrey. Again, I think Cory already kind of hit everything on the head. Just what he's been able to do and the fact that he stayed healthy doing it. I do think James Cook is probably neck and neck with them there, but for me, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey.
All right, Cory, who would be your Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, I look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, what he's able to do. I didn't see what he finished with this weekend, but I think he was still in line for Calvin Johnson's record. So that's a pretty amazing feat in what they're able to do in Seattle. So for me, it'd be JSN.
Austin?
Yeah, I like to just be different, and I know people care about winning and stuff, but
Isaiah Pacheco.
No, God, you know how I feel about him. Come on now, Brashard Smith. No, I like to be different, and I like to just see who dominated the season offensively. He's not on a winning team, but give me Trey McBride. Like if I get to pick like a skill position player right now to like just have on a draft, like anything you take running back, receiver, tight end, Trey McBride might be one of my first picks. He's a lethal receiver. He's a great blocker. So far, he's remained available. I don't know. I like Trey McBride. My actual pick, if I had to legitimately vote, it would be CMC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making sure Trey McBride gets some love because the dude's dominant. I think he set the tight end record already for receptions in a year. Yeah. So he's been dominant. I know the Cardinals suck and they pass a lot, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he's just an animal.
Yeah. Well, if I said Christian McCaffrey's MVP, I would probably pick him for Player of the Year, but I'll change it since I've already said Christian McCaffrey. I would probably say Jackson Smith as well. What he's doing in Seattle with Sam Darnold, and again, he's at 113 receptions, 10 total touchdowns, 1,700 yards. I mean, if he has a big game against the Niners, I can only imagine what that stat line is going to look like at the end of the season. So I'm going Jackson Smith. So Caleb, finish us off. Who would be your Offensive Player of the Year?
So I'm going to be a little different. Yeah. My bad. I'm going to say Jonathan Taylor. So he has 6 more carries than Christian McCaffrey this year, but he has 8 more rushing touchdowns and 400 more rushing yards on only 6 more carries. So I've got to go with him. I know he kind of popped off at the start of the year and kind of fell off near the end. I don't think that was necessarily his fault, but I got to roll with Jonathan Taylor as my Offensive Player of the Year.
I dig it. Okay, Defensive Player of the Year. Austin, who is your NFL Defensive Player of the Year?
Since I chose him for MVP, I'm going to pivot here. I'm actually going to go, and it pains me to say it, but I'm going to go Pat Surtain.
I like it. Matt, who would be your Defensive Player of the Year?
Austin's boy, Myles Garrett. I think that's the only option.
It is.
I would go Will Anderson Jr. as Defensive Player of the Year.
Wrong.
Well, I mean, listen, you guys already chose Myles Garrett. So, Cory, your Defensive Player of the Year.
Riley Moss.
My guy.
No, it would still be Myles Garrett for sure.
All right, Caleb, finish us off. Defensive Player of the Year. Who would you pick?
So if I can't go Myles Garrett, I'm going to be completely wrong on this, but Kevin Byard.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Kevin Byard, he's number 1 in INTs with 6.
Yeah.
He's kind of been balling this year. Titans kind of wrote him off, and he did right back.
Man, if they had AJ
great.
Brown and Kevin Byard.
Thanks. I'm glad he wrote back. Okay, thanks. All right, let's go with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Cory, kick us off.
J. Harvey, baby, leading all the running backs in total touchdowns.
I should have guessed.
Okay, sorry, I know what winning is.
All right, Austin, your Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Tyler Shook, baby.
Okay, that's good. That's a good pick, Matt.
Give me Tyler Warren.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Caleb.
So Austin and Matt picked my 1 and 2, but number 3 would be Ted McMillan.
Matt Williams.
Matt Williams. Yeah. Ted McMillan would be my number 3 probably.
Tight end out of Oceanside.
The guy whose name I can't pronounce.
That's why I just say Ted.
There you go. I would.
Williams? How can you? What? That's not hard to say.
Oh, there's 2 T's?
Oh, wow. Matt or Matt? Matt.
All right, mine would be RJ Harvey. So
hell yeah,
what?
Respect.
I mean, I wanted to say Ashton Genty, and then I looked at both stats, and Harvey's played less games and has more touchdowns, and unfortunately, he's on a better team. So as long as he has more yards than Amari Hampton, I think I'm okay.
He doesn't. Oh, Ashton or RJ?
Ashton.
Okay, RJ does not.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Austin, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who you got?
Yeah, I really I said his name earlier and I already forgot it. The Browns linebacker.
Carson.
Weston.
Yeah, him.
All right. Matt, who would you pick?
I too was going with Carson Schweichen, sure, whatever. Whatever his name, yeah.
Watch out. Don't mispronounce.
Don't ask me for any. Yeah, don't let me do it.
All right, Caleb, who are you picking?
I'll say Carson Schlesinger too, because he's been dominant.
Yeah.
He really has.
Cory.
Yeah, same. And I think it sucks because I was hoping Jahdae Barron would be in this position, but we really haven't utilized him the way I thought he would be utilized.
Yeah. For me, it's Carson as well. I mean, I was looking up rookies and his literally popped out. I thought he was like a veteran starter, and no, he's cleaning up on the Browns defensive side on not only pass rushing, tackles, and interceptions. He actually has a good number of interceptions for his position. So Carson is where it's at.
With everyone going him, then I'm gonna give a shout out to someone else. I'm switching mine to Will Johnson. I think he's been barring he missed some time with an injury, but other than that, he's been a true shutdown corner. Some growing pains, but he's been legit. It was a steal for the Cardinals, so he's been legit.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Brianna Sports. She'll be back next Tuesday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And she mentioned how much she liked that the Cardinals had picked up Will Johnson, and he's done really well for that defense since they drafted him. So, all right, last award, Coach of the Year. Caleb, who would be your Coach of the Year this season?
So my Coach of the Year, they lost this week, but I still got to go Ben Johnson. The turnaround they've had, that kind of thing, how they changed their team through free agency. Like, you can't ask for a better start to a head coaching career. So I got to say Ben Johnson, yeah.
Okay. Cory.
It should be Sean Payton, but it won't. It'll be probably Liam Cohen.
All right. Austin.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kyle Shanahan. I think he's done the best coaching job this year.
That's a good one. Matt.
Give me Mike Vrabel.
Oh,
yeah.
Took a 3-14 team and now look where they are. Yeah. In contention for the 1 seed. So
I like it. Those are all tremendous picks. I was actually going to go the same route as Austin and say Kyle Shanahan. I think The Niners being one game away from potentially the NFC number one seed, I think is incredible considering where they were at earlier this season and with injury and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say Kyle Shanahan's been coach of the year. So, all right, guys, that is it for our West War Room Awards. We are now going to go over to our fan vote of the week. So there are 3 rivalry games that we're going to give you guys. You guys are going to select which game you want us to talk about as our rivalry of the week. Now, all these games have some sort of playoff implication on them, and they're all divisional rivals, which makes it all the much more fun. So in the NFC South, we have the number 1 seed Panthers playing the 2 seed Bucks. Winner takes the division, essentially. And then we have in the AFC North, Cory's favorite division, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, again, the number 1 seed against the Ravens, number 2 seed. I believe winner takes the division on this one as well.
Yep.
Even crazy to say that this week 18, they're barely going to be above 500. So, okay. And then the last one, which I think is probably the more interesting one, is a NFC West, the Niners and the Seahawks. So those are your 3 games that you guys will vote for. We will put a graphic up later tonight or maybe tomorrow, and you guys will vote all the way up. I think all these games are on Sunday, or are they on Saturday?
I know the Steelers Ravens the Sunday night game. I believe
the Seahawks and Niners are on Saturday, and so are the Panthers.
Yeah, so 2 of the games are on Saturday, so it would be a review for those.
Okay.
If one of those games won, it would be a review on our pregame, and then if the Steelers Ravens win, then we would preview it.
Man, Cody, we didn't get no Chiefs Raiders on the rivalry of the week. Man,
I mean,
these are literally
the
only games that. Well, I mean, the Broncos technically have playoff implications in their games, but that's not. These are the ones that matter a lot more.
Yeah.
You mean the number 1 seed for the Raiders don't matter to you? The hell?
Not number 1 overall pick. You guys don't know what seed is.
All right, guys. Anyway, so again, to vote, just go over to our Instagram. We'll put this on TikTok and X and all that stuff. So you're going to vote for either the Niners and Seahawks, Panthers or Bucks, or the Steelers and the Ravens for the rivalry game of the week. Winner, we will review or preview whichever game wins on our Sunday morning pregame show. All right, last segment before we close out the show, you guys, our AFC West player of the week. Each host will give a game ball to a respective AFC West player. Austin, I'm going to kick it over to you first. Who is your player of the week out of the AFC West?
I feel like the AFC West was just kind of booty this week. Like nobody truly deserves it. But I'm going to guess since Broncos were like the only team that actually won a game.
Okay.
And they didn't really have anyone that stood out to me. I guess I'll just go Bo Nix.
Okay.
Rough first half. He kind of came back second half. Again, only one team won. So Bo Nix.
All right. Cory?
Yeah, I'm going DJ Jones. The stats aren't going to pop off at you, but watch that game. He was literally the only player that caught my eye in that first half, and he was playing his ass off on the D line, and he was really making some plays that kind of saved the Broncos cheese there in the first half. So for me, it's DJ Jones.
Okay, Caleb.
I know my team lost, but he was the only bright spot in our team, and I know I'd set him as my MVP, but it was my West MVP, so my bad. But Justin Herbert. He was the only one that I thought really stood out to me on my team.
Okay. Matt?
Give me RJ Harvey. I mean, again, he may not have been super productive as a running back, but he was stellar as a receiver. And just I love his ability to make plays, and he was doing it all night, but making plays in open space, doesn't go down after the first contact. So for me, it's going to be RJ Harvey.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with Caleb. Justin Herbert is the AFC West MVP. Even though they lost, I mean, clearly he led the team in not only rushing, but also obviously pass yards, sacked 5 times, but he found a way to get that team close. Unfortunately, they did not, which is fine. But Justin Herbert, he was definitely the most valuable player, at least from that game. So, all right, guys, those are our AFC West players of the week. That's not the certified dogs of the week, are they? Oh, they are? Okay, great.
Oh, Caleb, I'm going to switch mine then. We can't have 3 Broncos up. Just put Nick Bolton.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Nick Bolton is Austin's certified dog of the week. AFC West. Yeah. This acronym's getting kind of long, so I like it. All right, guys, that is it. Do we have anything else before we close out the show, gentlemen?
No, man, it's almost that time of the year, man. I'm excited. Matt and I, we talked a lot about it last night in the live. It's gonna be an important couple weeks here.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious to see wildcard weekend, divisional. I think these playoffs are going to be very interesting because I think this is the first season in a while where it's wide open. We don't there's not a favorite, there's not a runaway, there's not a team that shows up every year that we assume is probably going to outlast everybody. It is as wide open as it can be. So it's kind of fun for football fans out there to just go with the flow. So, all right, guys.
Let's train next week.
We are.
We're one more time.
We're back on the guest train next week.
Yes. So just previewed that. We have Brianna Sports back next Tuesday Wednesday. No, am I getting my dates wrong? Because we have Dez and Drew on Monday, right?
Correct.
That's right. So we have Drew and Dez on Monday. So Dez, for those that don't remember, season 1 of West War Room, we had Dummies for Broncos, aka Dez. She was one of our very first guests, especially on the creator side. So she's bringing her co-host of the Sports Pod show, Drew, who is the Dolphins fan, which actually he's had a roller coaster of a season. So I'm really curious to get to chat with him about his team, and of course catch up with Dez and see how she's liking the Broncos and her new favorite player that she did an entire campaign on, which has been real fun. So that is on Monday. And then Tuesday, again, Brianna Sports, the young up-and-coming female sports reporter who got to interview Devin Booker recently, if you guys haven't kept up with that. And she is the NFC West fandom of the Cardinals and is a Westie bestie. Actually, Des is a Westie bestie too. So, but they are returning next week on Monday and Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. You guys will see it all over socials later on this week. And then now let's pay some bills and let's go home, fellas. So Vidag Coffee, thank you guys so much for sponsoring the show. Go to vidagcoffee.com or go to Amazon to get your guys' coffee today. They are no crash, no BS. So go ahead and get your caffeine fix with them, as well as getting all the health benefits and no artificial sweeteners and no sugars, no chemicals, none of that BS, as they say. Also, go to Rival Codes, use Rivals10 to get 10% off your Rivals merch. As you can see, Austin and I have our rivalry shirts on right now. It is not just a game, it is territorial and it is personal. So get your Rival Codes today. Use Rivals10 to get 10% off your order today. Troy with Field Ops Kansas, thank you so much for your support of the War Room. Go visit fieldopskansas.com/Kansas to go get your field ops quote in the greater Kansas area, as well as Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Angie and the team, the War Room's bacon of choice. Thank you guys so much for your support. And the main one, Jeff and his crew at JBW Solutions. We are recording out of the JBW Solutions studio. Shout out to Jeff and the team. Go visit jbwsolutionsllc.com today to get all safety regulations, OSHA compliances today for your business or your workplace. They are veteran-owned, community-driven, and safety-focused. So please go check them out and show them some love and support as he has done to us on our program. So thank you guys so much for tuning into the War Room. Please follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, all the platforms, and subscribe to the War Room YouTube channel. And you will catch us on the next time. I think we're coming back on the Sunday morning pregame show. Or do we have any? All right, Sunday morning pregame show. We'll see you guys there. See ya.